Welcome to Bench to Boardroom, where life sciences leaders come for signal, not noise, concise insights, sharp strategy, and actionable ideas shaping biotech, pharma, medtech, and healthcare. We're glad you're here. The new economics of launch, why where you launch may matter more than what you launch. Today's discussion begins with a statement that may sound obvious, but whose implications are profound. Every investment decision in innovative therapeutics should ultimately be judged by one metric: net present value. Not headlines, not scientific elegance, not conference presentations, not even regulatory approval. Value creation. And yet, despite billions invested annually in drug development, many organizations still make commercialization decisions based on historical precedent rather than maximizing portfolio NPV. Ironically, some of the largest opportunities to create value no longer reside inside the laboratory. They reside in strategy. Specifically, where should we launch first? Because the traditional answer, United States first, Europe second, rest of the world later, is increasingly becoming an assumption rather than a conclusion. And assumptions are expensive. Today we'll discuss why value creation across a portfolio increasingly requires asset-specific thinking and geography-agnostic decision-making. Launch sequencing is an investment decision. Most organizations think about launch sequencing as an operational exercise: regulatory timelines, commercial readiness, manufacturing capacity, sales force deployment. Those matter, but fundamentally, launch sequencing is a capital allocation decision. Every month of delay changes discounted cash flows. Every pricing decision influences future negotiations. Every geography generates evidence that may, or may not, increase the value of subsequent launches. Every decision alters NPV, and therefore shareholder value. The question is no longer where can we launch first? It is where should we launch first to maximize long-term enterprise value while serving patients most effectively? Those are very different questions. Let's consider scenario one: oncology and hematology. Imagine an innovative precision oncology therapy. The conventional playbook says FDA approval, US commercial launch, European submissions, then broader international expansion. Historically, that made sense. Large market, higher pricing, rapid adoption. But today's environment is different. Sophisticated European early access mechanisms, growing real-world evidence capabilities, and payer demand for comparative effectiveness data may change the equation. Suppose an earlier European pathway enables treatment of a well-defined biomarker population while simultaneously generating high-quality real-world outcomes. Those data then strengthen reimbursement discussions elsewhere. Suddenly, Europe becomes more than a revenue opportunity. It becomes a value-generating evidence engine. Meanwhile, patients receive earlier access. The result? Potentially higher long-term NPV despite a different initial geographic sequence. In another scenario, cell and gene therapy. Cell and gene therapies illustrate the issue even more dramatically. Manufacturing capacity is finite. Administration infrastructure varies enormously. Patient identification is complex. Healthcare systems differ substantially in readiness. The addressable patient population may be measured in hundreds rather than millions. In these circumstances, launching everywhere simultaneously may actually reduce value. Operational bottlenecks emerge. Manufacturing becomes constrained. Provider education becomes fragmented. Supply chains become stressed. Instead, a staged strategy focusing initially on jurisdictions capable of supporting administration, reimbursement, and longitudinal follow-up may create better outcomes, higher confidence, improved evidence, operational excellence, and stronger future negotiations. Emerging regulatory collaborations, including the Access Consortium, which brings together regulators from countries such as Australia, Canada, Singapore, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom, illustrate how coordinated review pathways may create attractive strategic opportunities for certain assets. Similarly, programs like the US FDA Commissioner's National Priority Voucher pilot program and other early access mechanisms can accelerate patient treatment while generating valuable evidence. The objective should not simply be earlier approval. It should be earlier value creation. And consider another scenario, immunology. Large patient populations, intense competition, long treatment duration, multiple comparators. Here, commercial success often depends less on scientific novelty than on market access strategy. Suppose a manufacturer pursues an aggressive US-first approach focused on premium pricing. That pricing decision subsequently influences international reference pricing discussions across numerous markets. Future negotiations become more difficult. Access slows, patient uptake declines, NPV erodes. Alternatively, a carefully sequenced launch emphasizing selected European markets with strong evidence generation and sustainable reimbursement may facilitate broader long-term adoption. Lower initial visibility, potentially greater lifetime value. The objective is no longer maximizing first-year revenue. It is maximizing discounted lifetime cash flow. That distinction separates finance from strategy. After all, the patient population matters. Another frequently overlooked variable is addressable patient population. Organizations often optimize for market size. Instead, they should optimize for market readiness. An immediately treatable population with established diagnostic pathways may create more value than a theoretically larger but operationally inaccessible population. Earlier diagnosis, established referral networks, treatment infrastructure, specialist availability, payer readiness, all influence realized value because patients who cannot access therapy generate neither health outcomes nor revenue. Time to patient is increasingly becoming time to value. Geography is therefore becoming a strategic asset. Historically, geography followed regulation. Now geography increasingly shapes strategy. International reference pricing means one country's decision influences another. Health technology assessment bodies increasingly communicate. Evidence generated in one jurisdiction influences others. Managed access agreements create learning opportunities. Real-world evidence compounds over time. Consequently, launch sequencing becomes an interconnected optimization problem rather than a chronological checklist. Companies should think less in terms of United States, Europe, rest of world, and more in terms of evidence, access, infrastructure, pricing externalities, operational readiness, long-term NPV. An NPV mindset changes everything. An NPV-focused organization asks different questions, not where is price highest, but where is value creation greatest, not where is approval fastest, but where can approval create the greatest strategic optionality, not where is the largest patient population, but where can patients benefit earliest while strengthening future access elsewhere? Those questions produce different strategies and increasingly better outcomes. As a final thought, for decades, life sciences commercialization followed geography. Tomorrow's winners will follow value. The companies creating the greatest portfolio value will increasingly abandon standardized global launch templates in favor of asset-specific strategies that integrate regulatory science, market access, operational capability, evidence generation, and patient need. because maximizing NPV is no longer a financial exercise. It is a strategic discipline. And perhaps the most important shift of all of this is value creation across the portfolio increasingly requires an asset-specific and geography-agnostic approach. One that asks not where a medicine has traditionally been launched, but where it should be launched to maximize both long-term enterprise value and timely patient access. Thank you for joining Bench to Boardroom. Always selective, always original, always actionable. Until next time.